Hello, everybody. We are back with some more Winter Cup. We are on the round of 16, which is the which is the first round after the group stages. Uh, we got a live match today with Wrestler and Graash, and I got some live casters here as well. We got Hornet, hello,
Hello, everyone.
and then our classic Slappy David or
Hello,
Davis or
hello.
Skippy David. I don't
I was
remember
gonna
anymore.
say, I have no idea if you're just pulling it in naturally or not. Yes, the old Skippy David.
Yeah. Yep. Anyhow, so yes, we got a live match here, uh, which is a little nice little rarity now. Oh, well,
Yep. So we do have a live match today, and it looks like they are already in the match, and this could be started at any moment. So
yep.
I think we'll kind of start things off. Maybe take a quick look at the draft.
Oh yeah, we got a fun draft here. Let me tell
y-
you, I'm slightly disappointed in one thing, but we'll get to it. But anyhow,
yeah. So just getting through it real quick. It looks like Graash won the coin flip and opted to pick second, and Wrestler chose to spy first. So Wrestler picked the Ice Cubism set, and Graash went with 45 RPM. Gresh banned Modern, Wrestler banned Redwoods, and Wrestler doubled Pub and Gresh doubled Ballroom.
yeah.
So, Slappy, what are you what are you thinking about those doubles?
Uh, so the ban on redwoods, I think, is honestly neither of them really like redwoods, so I don't know if actually we needed to do it. But just in case, sometimes you ban something a little left field so that they can't prep on it without them. I think that wrestler just likes modern. I don't think Grash particularly dislikes modern. I'm actually a little surprised by that being one of the bans that they
Mhm.
actually go ahead and whip out. Um, but other than that, pub a 4 of 7.
Or it's actually I think
That's
it's actually
interesting.
3 of 7. I gift up on that part, but
Okay. Oh, because I was like, that isn't. I know that there's variance
there we go.
sometimes in
Yes,
the
yes,
maps, but
yes. We got
that
this
was
one.
real.
It is 3 of 7 this time. Yes.
Gotcha. Because I say that's the classic old version of this map, but it's not very popular.
Yeah.
I'm fairly
Um,
certain there was a 4-7 in one of the bracket pools,
Yeah, I
and
think the bracket one of them. Yeah, I think there was.
yeah, so that played out kind of how you would expected, a little more sniper sighted, but yeah, we do have the more popular 3-7 variant for this
Yep, yep.
round.
Yeah, the only thing I'm disappointed by is that they didn't both double tan. They could have. We could have.
for eight
Yeah,
8 games,
yeah.
yeah.
8 games of tan. We could have done it.
Yeah, to me, I don't know, pretty standard draft. The double pub stands out to me the most, though. That's not something you really see high level players doubling. I assume wrestler, has his reasons, but I can only assume of what that could be. Um, yeah, the ballroom double, fairly normal bands
Yeah,
of. Yeah, I mean, modern sticks out a little bit as a band, but some people just don't really like it because it can really play into certain players, styles.
hmm.
Um, and yeah, redwoods, feels like a pretty common band to me.
Did we get a second game has ended prematurely?
Yes, we. I did. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. Are they? Is there some lag stuff going on? Oh, match
Oh,
has
yeah,
ended.
maybe.
Well, we might have some slight technical difficulties here.
Let's check the
Uh,
channel. First game launching. Okay. I guess I'm okay. They're both leaving, so I'm guessing there was a
yes,
lag.
we got some
Okay,
technical
sliding.
difficulties
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Okay, well, I guess that gives us a moment to talk about the two players in this match. So,
Yes.
out of all the round of 16 matches, this is definitely one of the most interesting to me. Both of these players, so not only were they both competing in Ruby, in the last in the last season of SML, they both made it to the championship match, and I believe it was I think it was the closest match of all the divisions. Went into several overtimes, and I think Crash ultimately took the victory. So that kind of like gives you, if you're not familiar with these players, that kind of gives you an idea of what we're in store for here. Probably a very, very close, very competitive match.
Yeah, indeed. They were pretty close in Ruby. Wrestler had an easier. Actually, I think Wrestler was first in those. What would that be like the round robin, right? But then, okay, so we are jumping in, and we're not doing delay this time.
Okay, so
So I guess we will be starting.
yeah. Wait, hold up. Let me. Should we? Okay, well, I'm turning off the wait for okay thing again. So, do we want to just start at the do a countdown and start it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and count this one down. So Wrestler will be spying as Boots in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, so that's right. That it's just going to start off with the doubled pub, which is going to be an interesting way to just get pace going. It's kind of hard to get into the zone first as sniper. Pretty normal start where we just kind of identify where the selection target is at. We don't have a lot of time, so that's honestly the first thing that spies often try to just get done on this map in particular. Are we going to do a bounce back? I'm curious how much we're going to get off the seduction targets window, but this is interesting because it throws off any timings that they might have for like looking for the exact moment of the second talk.
Yeah, certainly a good start with the immediate green flirt. I think Wrestler wanted to go to that full conversation because that just was a good time to give like several of the guests credit for contact. But I love the bounce; like it looked very AI like, and it gets us back in this conversation, and it keeps the seduction target in place just for long enough to go ahead and get that second green flirt. So yeah, like Wrestler off to a blazing start already with the two flirts, and let's see what the plan is from here.
Looks like it might be a fingerprint if we're going. Oh, we actually are opting not to go into the fingerprint. We could just do an inspect into fingerprint from this, depending on if anybody goes and picks up. We could just go for the swap, but I don't think that's going to be the play for this kind of a rush. I don't think that's necessary at all. So let's see if it looks like we're not opting into the fingerprint by the pathing that we're taking. We do get the highlight, I think, just for, of course, being in there. And then we just might fire up this banana bread. I'm almost sure that is what we're going to do and just say, hey, do you think that I could be done with these flirts yet? We actually can't do this conversation too long. Oh, red, red, red.
Oh, that is a very unfortunate red flirt. I honestly think, yeah, and Graash finds a shot. I honestly think that that would have been a win if not for that cough. Because see, the thing is that we were number one suspect guaranteed, but I just how could we possibly be done with flirt so soon? Yeah, really, really tough red flirt there for or I'm sorry, red contact for Wrestler.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the conditions for that because we had three greens in a row. The green on the inspects is it's one of the least impactful greens in the game. It's just your single inspect on pub, but three greens and then immediately into a red. I wonder if we were getting too attached to our greens. That there's like that little green on the edge of the bar. But like if I could just get this without saying, without even talking, I feel like I got a good chance. So agreed. I feel like Wrestler had a really good shot there, and just kind of like daring the shot so early. Very interested to see what would have happened if not for the red test.
And with that, looks like we're already into our next round. So let's go ahead and kick things off. Spying as red dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And now this is interesting because Wrestler was playing pretty loose in that first game, just for like far as like being able to rush and whatnot. But now Graash is going to have a little bit of leeway as well. We are going to flirt and walk away. Actually, I think slightly early. I think that's like 4 or 5 seconds into this 7 second window. But I don't think it's going to matter at all. But I think it's similarly going to be kind of a fast paced game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was an illegal window stay, but if there's ever a time to do it, it's early in the game where the wrestler, I'm sorry, where the sniper has many things to take track of and can't really, time window stays. Um, yeah, and both going with a similar strategy of getting flirt done with early. I think that's very wise on a venue like this where you have a short timer. And both of them hitting the double green. Big difference here is that Crash has a delegate at hand, has contact, and the mission win is already pending with 149 on the clock. Um, yeah, this is going to be a very hard shot for Wrestler to take, and to make it even harder, we're leaving conversation, so Wrestler won't have that memory of who was by small man. So yeah, so let's see if Wrestler can find the shot here.
I think it will. I don't love that delegate to Smallman. Like I get the rush part, but the target choice of Smallman. So at the beginning of the game, we went to Windows. and we left not because I think we even really wanted to get our pace up, but we're kind of hoping not to get paired with small men at all. Minimize the amount of time you're next to your seduction target out the windows. Don't get paired. But also the flip side of that is if you leave early, maybe you just kind of like the sniper's like, well, I don't really know for sure, but it's going to draw more attention to the person that you're next to. If you're going to do the 3 green rush into purloin action, if you send your seduction target and you're trying to say, hey, bet me whether or not that I've hit these 3 greens, you send your seduction target. If they have paired you at all and are thinking about it, that's going to up the anticipation of an actual shot. So I don't know about that particular purloin target again.
Yeah, definitely a good point, and yeah, there's really no hesitation from Wrestler on that shot. Um, but yeah, with that, looks like these players are not wasting any time getting into the third round here. So Wrestler this time will be spying as Alice in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Maybe bug. We're just going to be like it's just going to be kind of like free in the sense of like everybody who passed by Ambassador is going to have some suspicion potentially. So we are going to take that bug. We actually were kind of like late on it and had to bounce backwards. But Graash I think kind of just gave up on it. We're just like anybody that goes through this is going to have like potential bug credit.
Yeah, that was a very free bug. Pathing was a little awkward, but I think yes, I don't think any of that went noticed, and free fingerprint to go along with it. Yeah, I mean, understandable getting shot for purloin, of course, getting shot for a red contact. Fingerprints on pub is an interesting one. That one, could fly under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, and both of these players are opting into. Actually, that's really interesting. That's gonna. I am curious how Wrestler's gonna respond to the seduction target leaving as soon as we got in here, because I was just about to say that both the players have been opting into really trying to leave themselves as many options as possible. We are gonna delegate. I think that's actually a good response for this particular problem that we're gonna run into. And we are going to leave right as they come in. I actually think that's legal unless we wanted to take a sip and stay in there, but we don't, right? Because we want to actually get some flirt in as soon as possible. We're going to be inspecting at the same time as this. We could even maybe swap if we wanted to, unless there's a fingerprint that I missed at this one. That'd be interesting. It is. There is a fingerprint. Okay, this absolutely makes sense. But it's just going to take too much attention onto us. So we get the shot even before the. Oh no, the delegate expired. I totally missed that part.
Yeah, really nice sniping. I think the going for the statue was probably maybe a little out of necessity because we're under 2 minutes. We hit the white flirt. Our ST bailed once, so looking for a quicker finish. Unfortunately, yeah, Graash was just right on top of that, and once again, jumping straight into the next round. No delays for these two. So looks like Graash will be spying this time as Rocker in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, so very high pace for both of them. I think that this kind of just shows like they believe in the other player's ability to not overreact to just random spies potentially finishing. That's the main thing you take away by rushing on any map, but in particular on A37 Pub, is that let's say you just get normal flirts in and then you banana bread with like 45 seconds left. There's a decent chance that somebody who has talked a couple of times is going to be in a conversation with a suspected agent, and either inspected or took a pass at Ambassador at some point. Maybe fingerprints. It's AI completing fingerprints on pub is actually a little bit low, but I think they both have been respected in this by Sniper. That like I don't think you're just going to take random civ shots.
Yeah, and I actually, almost want to say, like both of these players, in the rounds leading up to this, they've been very aggressive. Snipers have been very on point. Graash is taking a little bit of a slower strategy this game. Maybe just seeing like, hey, will the sniper get a little bit jumpy? Because this is, a fairly active party. Contact here would be, well, not so great, but that's because the SDA is one of the only people out of conversation. Otherwise, it would have been incredible. But yeah, I wonder if Graash is maybe just kind of waiting around and just testing Wrestler's nerves, seeing if he, can maybe take a civ shot.
Yeah, and we'll see about what's happening here. We got a highlight at a very strange time. I'm very curious about that. I'm not sure if that was because it looks like we are setting up for double agent. then Double Agent left. Something that's going to be standing out to Wrestler at this point. Why hasn't Banana Bread happened? Okay,
Banana
actually, this
Bread.
is great. This is fantastic, especially if that earlier highlight was for Double Agent approach. Doesn't seem like it was because that highlight has stuck. We are the actual only. Okay, there's another highlight in there. I am again curious about why we got that first highlight. I think we might be paired with Papa Danger, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I could be wrong. I think Wrestler is very behavioral with his sniping. Like, I mean, we simply just walked from one conversation circle to another with really no credit in hand. I assume he saw something behaviorally that he didn't like, but I can only speculate on what that could be. And the problem is, as good of that contact was, it really eliminated the only other real suspect, which was Queen. And now we're in a position where we have to force mission win countdown, but we really just don't have enough time to do so.
Yeah, and we're
Yeah.
just gonna get shot. So we actually Graash knew that they were not going to finish missions in that, right? They needed to force a panic shot before overtime, so they took the drink as quickly as possible to try to make Wrestler worry about having to shoot in overtime. But it was just so rushed at the end there that I don't think Wrestler had any problem. Um, Earlier suspicion aside, taking that shot. Yeah, I really want to know because we did hang out in conversation. We bounced off of Smallman a tiny bit, so it might have been a conversation entry bounce off of Smallman, but very interesting. And then the thing we talked about as being this chaotic, strange pick ends up just being a 2-2 split. Move on.
Yep. So yeah, with wrestlers double going 2-2, we're gonna go ahead and jump into Tayan, see if these players can have or see if the spies can have a little bit more luck on this side. So wrestler will be starting things off, spying as Bling Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, we immediately take control so that we can kind of anticipate where the party. Okay, so unfortunately, it really looked like Seductor Dark was going to join us there. I actually liked our attempt there. Are we going to try for a microphone this early? There's a lot of cover, a lot of back cover with the shadows. That would be really interesting play, really unlike stuff that Wrestler does. That is actually a lot worse now that the person at the green bookcase left. So I actually don't think we're going to be doing anything with that. And instead, we are going to be going over and planting a bug on the way through. I don't know about how Graash feels about it. I don't think he likes it though. He seems to be holding Twin on camera.
Yeah, it was a bit of an awkward path, but the path he took, I think, did a good job obscuring the bugging arm. And like those are the kind of strange paths that you will see AIs take on Tan sometimes because sometimes the path they want to take is blocked and it'll force the guest to route through conversations or take slightly awkward paths. So while I don't think we're a highlight or anything like that, I think we certainly do have at least bug credit at the moment.
I'm curious if they start recognizing how early both of them have been flirting as they enter into conversation. Both of them, like when they flirt immediately. I'm curious if there's going to be any counterplay to that, because like we're not like we're really valuing the extra time by talking instantly. So I'm curious about that.
I mean I want to say yes. Like I know wrestler is quite behavioral in his sniping. I know Graash is he's kind of famous for his whole mnemonics campy style stuff, but I assume when he's when there's nothing to camp at the moment, maybe he's looking for some behavioral cues as well, but not too sure on his side. Um, but yeah, definitely a good thing to notice and a good thing to look out for these players, and I assume they know each other quite well.
They do, and also really well timed out and sequenced. Sip flirt at bookcase. We got there with just like we're just gonna do a direct. It's at a really interesting time during the take from Toby, or sorry, the take from White Dress. I don't think it was. The laser snapped over to us. I guess we're still anticipating. We know the mission count. So that's I feel like the direct was like 2 seconds too soon. I'm curious about that because we still keep watching over here, but I don't know if he's baiting something. This is interesting.
Yeah, I really honestly I love the play from wrestler.
Banana Bread.
For a sniper like Crash who sees everything, like you kind of have to cheese them, and that was kind of the perfect moment is just waiting for him to be distracted and waiting for a moment to actually get a transfer cheese in. So we are finally a highlight. And yeah, we're actually just one flirt away from winning, and that's really good news for wrestler. I mean, this if we had hit two greens, this would just be over. Um, yeah, let's see if he can pull it off. Our ST is not in the best spot for flirting though. I mean, but surely she'll land somewhere within time.
Yeah, and we gotta chase right now, and we are gonna chase. And I'm also worried a little bit. Oh, get him out these bounces. Okay, we're doing cross conversation, which is totally fine. Okay, there's gonna be no OT. We are gonna be talking right at the end here, along with Pencil Stash. I don't think there's gonna shot coming off, and Wrestler is able to take that off of a bug that we were able to sell after the fact. As just being a weird pathing thing from AI, really great flirt pacing, and then just that transfer that again, like I feel like the timing when we looked at, we were hoping that white dress was going to take that drink, but just a great ideation for the most part. Love that game.
Oh yeah, really well done from Wrestler. Honestly, just really ambitious play, just making the big plays, and I mean that's really what you need to do in a set like this, and could make all the difference. Um, and as usual, the players have jumped right into the next one. No delay here. So let's see if Graash can strike back on the spy side. So Graash is going to be spying as Irish in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Also, very happy that it appears that there's not been sliding issues because I was really worried about that. Oftentimes, that does not just fix itself. We're gonna flirt at statues, and so here's this interesting thing that this happens. Normally, I'd be like, "Oh, you're taking away the middle statues from your seduction target by doing this. You want them to keep that, but General already ruined that. So this is kind of actually the free version of sometimes the problem of picking up the middle statue, or sorry, picking up side statues next to your seduction target. So this is actually lovely, and I'm curious how I guess it doesn't really matter for General because he's double agent, but the scattering of inspects immediately in this game is going to parse out. We're going to take that bug on the return through. It's going to just be whether or not we really feel like it's super suspicious. We seem to be hovering nearby, but that seems to always be around Toby. So I'm assuming that Wrestler's credited this, but I don't think there's going to be anything more than that.
Yeah, and kind of an interesting note too on the middle statues. It looks like Wrestler went ahead and highlight Alice just for attempting the middle statues, even though ultimately she couldn't have finished. So yeah, kind of worked out in our favor in both instances, and yeah, kind of a like just like Wrestler did in the previous round, like a very ambitious bug path. Like it looked a little scary to go for, but it yeah, it seems like it was a completely reasonable bug path. Um, and yeah, we don't even pick up a highlight, so I think maybe just some really soft bug credit. Yeah, the problem is though is like we have all this partial progress. We need to start finishing some of these missions.
Graash panicking
And the end of red.
slightly on about that tap into, oh my god, that double agent left during the green. There's the version of this that used to happen. People complain about a lot, but people don't really anymore. Where you take a white banana bread and double agent leaves during the time after you start talking. But then there is this one where double agent leaves during the time that it took the bar to get to the green spot on the action test. Very unfortunate. I would say though on Taean, probably one of the, if you have to take two banana breads on a map, like Taean and Courtyard are probably up there.
Yeah, and the thing is that we don't even really need, or we don't necessarily need a contact. It looks like we can pick up our second print whenever we want to. We could finish inspects whenever we want to, and same with Fur. Really,
Highlight,
just not
highlight
enough
for
time.
pathing.
And the end of red.
This is really bad, actually. That we had a great run right there, but then the trying to insert ourselves into the conversation. We actually have to get out of this conversation, I think, because it looked like we were trying to force ourselves in for something, and now there's banana bread. We are not going to be finishing up in specs here. I'm assuming this is fingerprintable, otherwise why would we be here? It is, and we still have to hit that flirt. Or are we going to try for a swap right at the end of this? We are not. I am so curious if the pathing highlight at the end of that game did it for us as we try to crush ourselves into that conversation circle that we had to do because of that banana bread bail.
Yeah, if I was to guess, I think one thing that that Wrestler really didn't like, when there's two contacts, you generally assume the second one was real, and then you look at which of your highlights is in for that second one, and it was really just us and Small Man. So I think seeing us go back to that fingerprintable statue was probably enough to seal the deal for Wrestler.
Unfortunate. So it turns out that I think that if we didn't have to force ourselves in that conversation and draw wrestler's ire, I think we had a really good shot at winning that one, but so far, Sniper's just been completely on top of it.
Yeah, and we're going into another round. I honestly I did not think Taeyeon was a double, but it looks like it. We are going into another round of Taeyeon.
Well, it's
Uh,
not a double. It's in both of the things that they picked. It was in both
oh,
Ice Cubism and 45 RPM. I
okay,
understand the
so it's
confusion though.
it's an effective double. We'll call it that, but not an intentional. Okay, so all right, so wrestler, we'll go ahead and kick things off on this third round of Taeyeon as Taft in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
It was an interesting mind game for the ones where there's a map in both of them, whether or not you decide to just practice all out on that map and double it and get 6 games in, regardless. And then, of course, if your opponent decides to just accept the gambit and also double it for the 8 games, that would be pretty fun. But uh, as it is, what's going to happen with this is normally Winter Cup games, you kind of have this scattering of a lot of single sets. But this one's going to have effectively, like you're saying, 3 doubled venues where we're going to see if we goes all the way. And right now, I'm assuming we are going to see a lot of games here. 4 games of pub, 4 games of Taeyin, and 4 games of ballroom.
Yeah, and we're not too far into this round, but this is already the slowest game we've seen so far from wrestler. Waiting, about a solid minute before going in for the first flirt, but it is a green, so already kind of back on track. Um, yeah, maybe just not really seeing what we want from this party, or maybe just yeah, just kind of testing Graash and seeing if he can hold a shot on Taeyeon, where quite a lot is happening.
Yeah, and we're Taft here, so we have the self-blocking standing bugs in certain directions. Like this isn't the this isn't the bug spot we want, but we'll probably set up at some point on. Let's see if the block is
Banana
on
bread.
the right side. We could set up on the book side or the other side.
Uh,
Um,
Beautiful contact from wrestler. Like everybody was in except for just one, I believe, just one guest. So yeah, like basically the whole party getting uh, credit for that contact.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and actually, what's funny about that? I'm curious about that Duke highlight, and I am now thinking about adding something to my repertoire of the length of time after contact on Taeyin for flirt because that's just so specifically something spies do, especially on Taeyin, because there's just so much like chaos in the conversation circles that spies. I think they just kind of like do whatever they want in the conversation circles, but it's also hard to punish. We get a bug on the entry. This is exactly what wrestler was setting up for in general for Taft. Taft is just excellent on this, and so impossible to see the arm just in general, but also not incredibly incriminating either, just because of Taft's body. We are gonna white Purloin though, and that could completely undo everything that we've done so far. We need to go get that flirt instantly. Like I don't think Graash actually responded to this yet. We get the Civ shot off on Ponytail. Did we actually see that Purloin, and was she in the chain?
Yeah, highly unfortunate civ shot for Grash. I felt like he was, doing a little bit of laser shake there. I think he was getting a little frustrated with the party. Um, I think it looked like one of those moments where just you're kind of losing track of what's going on. The ambassador is in horrible locations, giving tons of people bug credit. And yeah, for wrestler, it kind of just looked like one of those games where you can just kind of stand in one spot the whole time and just finish missions that way. Like sometimes the missions will come to you, like with the ambassador. But yeah, with the Purloin, I didn't really get to see how that chain worked out.
It
I
was
assume
Alice.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Alice right before
Mhm.
us. Yeah, and I guess we probably didn't get a good look at the fade either. So yeah, really tough, kind of a 50-50 situation for Grash.
Yeah, I mean that speaks to the fact that well, I guess we can start the next game though. I'll make my point in that.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and start that. So spying as queen in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
That does speak to the fact that we had actually gotten a bug off in that game, and the sniper still thought that the other person in that chain was more suspicious than us. Um, uh, does does wrestler use that was a really conspicuous Damon low light? Does wrestler use Damon as a mnemonic? I wouldn't think so. I think that was just a tick.
Yeah, not that I've ever noticed. Like I know some people will just instinctively just low light him just because he's there. But yeah, I'm not sure if he uses it for any sort of memory system.
I always liked that. I always thought that was super clever. I actually always wanted to figure out a reason for me to use it more, but yeah. So that's so in my books, that last game was kind of like a double win for Wrestler, in the fact that Civ shot when we were doing actually really well in that game, and that we would be able to, at least progress wise, that we were able to get the flirt off. Then
Yes.
again, that's part of the camera shake. I think, like you're mentioning, is not really being a fan of having to choose between the two of them.
And
And
yeah,
we're
I might have. Sorry to interrupt. I might have missed the exact timing on this, but we apparently picked up a low light. I think it was just due to our conversation entry. Maybe it was just that good. I don't know, but if there was ever a time for Graash to get back in this match, this would certainly be it.
Yeah, and what was it? I think did Graash return briefcase? I want to say, and then maybe did something good with that return of briefcase. And it's good that we are. It's good we're low lit. You know, the funny thing for Graash is that unless we get this picked back up, okay, no, we're focused in on the list, not on Graash. Yeah, we did return the briefcase earlier. Graash might feel like they are super conspicuous, right? Like there's no, it's really hard to tell just in general on Taeyan what your light status is. There's not gonna be a lot of tells about it. Like even beyond players hiding their highlights and lowlights on a lot of maps, you're really not gonna have a good sense of your suspicion on Taeyan. Maybe more than just about any other map that there is. So Graash might end up playing this slow, which would be horrible for us because all we really seem to need to do is finish.
Yeah, and if I'm Graash right now, I'm feeling a little nervous because some of that bouncing that just happened was not very good, not very AI like. I would probably be feeling a little bit of heat after that, but I guess maybe the fact that the laser didn't flick over to us for a highlight is maybe a little bit of telling that we're okay right now. But yeah, clearly Crash, does not even suspect that he's a highlight, so he's taking it pretty slow, and he's actually taking a very sneaky route. Like even if we were neutral light, bug fingerprint
Enemy in the
seduce
red.
contact is a great way to win on Taeyen, and yeah, looks like we're headed just for that.
Yeah, and agree with that. I'm glad that we didn't actually slow down our game and try to pace it out badly. We are going to be taking the slowest flirt that I think that we've done so far. There we go. We do get the flirt. Of course, I do think that we're not going to get shot. There's a lot of heat towards Duke, so I was really curious. Oh, that zoom made me nervous for a second. But we're just watching Trey. We're just worried about Purloin. There was a zoom on. So when we took the bug, that low light was actually critical because Duke was getting watched for that reverse bug very closely, and we were bugging at the exact same time. So the bug happened right when we were thinking it could have happened, but it was on the person right next to us, low lit. Yeah, just took that risk, didn't work out, and we are still tied.
Yeah, so great game for Grash. I want to say he would still win that if he wasn't a low light, but with the way Wrestler's been sniping so far, I can't I can't confidently say that. Still a great game, however, and it'll probably have Wrestler, doubting maybe his low light strategy a little more leading forward. But yeah, with that, let's go ahead and jump right into Terrace. Looks like Wrestler's going to be spying first as Alice in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I am curious. So, the fact that they play, I was going to say exactly this pretty much, is the fact that they were playing pub as fast as they were makes me think they're going to play Terrace as fast as they possibly can. Terrace is much easier to control than pub. Sometimes spies can get lured into playing slow on pub because stuff can just kind of happen. There's things that make snipers nervous and maybe take a wrong shot. There's not as much of that on Terrace. It's much easier to control kind of every single aspect than pub. Actually, now that I think about it, everything that's on pub that's hard to control is easy to control on Terrace. I can't think of a mission that's harder to control. I guess you could argue maybe Purloin, just because it's mashed together like that. And
Yeah, I want to.
fingerprint's a little bit harder to control. There's more spots for you to drop fingerprints.
Yeah, I want to say like with these two players in particular, I have a hard time believing like this is going to be anything other than a sniper handshake. But I do know Gresh. I think he has selected Terrace as his double in tournaments before. So it's I think something he likes. He does, or at least I think it's Gresh. I could be thinking of someone else. Either way, I know he's played this venue quite a lot, has a lot of experience, and Wrestler took an interesting strategy. So Gresh was taking. Oh
What?
wow, when we get a low light, I was not expecting that, considering Gresh was doing bar highlights, and we were one of the only people who went
There
to
it
the
is.
bar.
I was gonna say I would be shocked. Graash, that's like Grash's main first mnemonic is trying to remember purloins.
So
Um,
My
Yeah.
thought on that is that the timer, it must have been so low on the timer that Graash thought like, okay, that must have been a direct because you didn't have time to delegate. But yeah, I think it was like kind of like a perfectly timed delegate.
Yeah, I am indeed curious about how they decided, how he was decided to do that. Because like he was taking, if you take the lowlights on everybody, if you think it's the, if you really think it's the direct, I mean, you can obviously you can just like shoot. But I think he was trying to narrow down, and then I think for a moment there he got too excited and just low lit everybody in that conversation, and then had to remember back up. So that's an interesting test of memory. If you accidentally, like, let's say you're narrowing down the party and you're just getting excited and you're just trying to do you take your lowlights first. You take your lowlights first, and then you're like, okay, now I'm returning back to reprioritizing the people that were potentially in that chain. And I was worried that he might forget because he low lit there, but no such
Yeah,
luck. This would be a
another
timeout
interesting
probably.
point though is I think Twin
And in
had
the red.
bug credit as well. If we could have just got him in for a contact, that would have been it. But unfortunately, he wanted to spend a lot of time at statues, so it didn't even really give us a shot for the 50-50. And yeah, and of course, Grash would have had and found the shot. So let's go ahead and jump into the next round. So Grash will be spying as Sorry in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and that was I was expecting Wrestler to be aggressive during that game. It was like I think you actually were kind of intoning this when we were first kind of in the prelim play. It was an odd time to do it. It was just easy to control. It felt like it didn't feel like it was going to catch Grash off guard at that particular moment. We are going to get this bug. That's actually very nice. I'm
Beautiful
actually
reverse
surprised that
drive-by.
Wrestler wasn't guarding that, maybe, but it was well covered, pretty much invisible from the angle that we were holding.
Yeah, and
And
Crash
in the red.
just not wasting any time. He's like, I have I have this perfectly hidden bug. I have my ST right next to me. Let's just go ahead and get these missions done. Get to
And
mission one countdown as soon as possible.
the flash is actually on Boots, not us. But now do we just get possible bug credit for that second pass? That would be really unfortunate. Especially because, so what's funny here is, I believe our two top suspects are Boots and us. We are in seduction pairs together, so anytime that we're near each other, Boots is going to be getting seduction progress, and we're going to get seduction progress. And it's between these two possibilities that Wrestler's gonna have to decide who to shoot, because that the game is just out in front now at this point, right? He thinks that there's potentially a bug that's happened for either one of them. They're flirting with each other. They both have the exact
And
same
in the red.
contact credit. That fake, I
Oh
think, is gonna
no.
tip it in the favor, though. That's interesting.
Oh, that hurt to watch. That see, I felt like we were at a point where the game was going to be decided as to whether or not the ST leaves us or not. Because if we ever chase, we're getting shot. If we just flirt again, with our ST never leaving our side, that's very hard to shoot for. I think Wrestler was looking just for one more thing, and I think the white flirt was enough. Because I mean, I think yeah, that was just really all he needed to see at that point.
What's the funny thing is, so we got the standing bug at 240, because we're in a spot that's like the, if Ambassador is in the lower, let's say the southwestern side of Terrace, he's gonna pass by that corner a lot. It's the perfect corner when, again, Ambassador's anywhere on the southwestern side of the map. It's predictable location for him to be passing by, unless he's going to go to statues or to bar. Um, that happened twice. The first time, I'm pretty sure we got away with that bug completely clean. But because we stayed to flirt with Boots, it happened again. And that second pass, Graash got bug credit for being in that location. So just kind of a funny thing about, if you're in the spot that is heavily trafficked by Ambassador, and you get away with the first one clean, every pass that takes, you're gonna get another chance at getting credited with the bug, even if you don't take it.
Yeah,
So love that kind of like double-edged sword of being in that location.
yeah, tough one for Grash because like even just watching the replay, Wrestler actually was guarding the first one, and it was just so clean that he didn't get credit. But yeah, it's yeah, tough luck on that. Let's go ahead and jump into gallery. So players are already playing. Wrestler will be spying as pearls in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Martini actually has a really funny point that the second credit for second bug was credited, and also second banana bread, because the first banana bread was actually really thrown shading towards boots apparently. So just funny that the first two seemed to go great for us, and it was only in the spacing out between the second one and the decision to throw out that next banana bread that seemed to have pulled us in on that one.
Yeah, and the spy choice actually caught me off guard a little here because Pearls feels like on gallery feels like a spy you would never want to willingly choose. Maybe he's just playing on random, or maybe he's just saying, "Hey, I don't," or maybe he just likes the extra lack of suspicion for picking for picking this spy. I don't know, but either way, we're gonna be moving very slowly and hopefully probably completing a lot of missions in this back area of the room.
Yeah, so the interesting thing with picking characters that don't suit certain venues' playstyles is it's also a commitment strategy. This is actually a great that turn, but I mean that's about as oh no, we're dead. It's over. Too bad. I was gonna say like that's about as good as you could get. White's white animation in the back right. That was about as good as it could have worked out for us. Because really the problem with White is she's also tall. And like you're not even gonna get the best cover for the head turn regardless. So if you get a green test though, she actually has a fantastic green test, honestly. But if you're not hitting the green, it's just really apparent. Graash, I'm almost positive Graash completely saw that and is just like not even really playing out the rest of this game. Maybe he wants to hide in the replay that he saw it so much, but I don't think that's really gonna play out. And possibly um, just covering his corners and like maybe I missed something and I actually still need to play this game up, but it seems like it's just dead.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny situation because Red Dress was really nicely body blocking for us, and her hair was even covering some of that white animation. But I think just the top of her head was visible enough for Grash to catch on to what was happening. Um, but even still, like making pretty nice progress. If the DA didn't bail on us, we'd have about 2.5 missions right now, or well, actually a little bit more considering we also have the microfilm in hand. Um, with the DA bailing though, even if we weren't a suspect, this is already looking pretty rough because only 90 seconds left to do a lot of missions on a very slow character.
Banana bread.
What's funny here is there's gonna be a huge zoom on Purloin there. I think Grash expected that Purloin here. We're just gonna take the shot anyways. We're not gonna chance it. Ambassador was walking by and contact went off. We were flashing on white effectively earlier on, so Grash is not going to be trying to hide anything from Wrestler in the replay. Just saw the white microfilm, but honestly, like that plan. Don't mind it at all. And Grash was just taking a good guard on that microfilm.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the next round. So Grash will be spying as Seek in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Hey, what's interesting also is we didn't actually even wait for the other part of the microfilm. Like sometimes you can kind of well, I mean, like if you, I mean, from wrestler's position though, I would have assumed that he felt like he got away with the microfilm, because that was the whole part that was like great about it was like actually had really solid cover. So I doubt that he would try to do the okay if I am suspected for part of a microfilm, I can kind of play against that expectation and do four of the missions, kind of rush the other ones and get something else done. But as you said, also white is kind of slow, so it's also hard to rush a bunch of other stuff and get anything done.
Yeah, interesting start here too. We go straight to the statues, which not an OP rights approved play because you you get the highlight right off the bat, so your chances of doing things sneaky for the rest of the game are not very high. We meet our ST in conversation in kind of a spy-like spot. She immediately bails, and we follow to the book, so we at least do get that green flirt for 51%, and we're chasing for the third time at quite some distance though, so. Yeah, I think we're in a little bit of danger of getting flare paired here since we've chased twice now, and we have to chase yet another time, and we also have to return in statues. So yeah, already, yeah, I don't know. I'm already not liking Grash's chances here. Like I think we need like something favorable to happen for us to get to mission win countdown here.
Yeah, and actually to your point about the highlight, um, early highlight on gallery is among the more important just ones where it's like even it just the fact that you're highlight, not anything about the suspicion level or anything like that. But if you tried to do a standing a reverse bug at paintings, and your opponent lowlights Ambassador, highlighted hands stick out through Ambassador, and like their returns back to their initial reset position are more apparent than any other map, and you're just gonna be doing it more often. Gallery just has a lot of bugs where the only two things that are in play are Ambassador and you. Those are the two parts that you're trying to block with. We are going to do another um, banana bread where a double agent leaves while we're trying to contact them. Slight screen shake from Graash, and that is really going to make the pacing even harder for us. And there's a flash on us. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, we take the bug because I mean we have to, but yeah, Wrestler's just on top of it. And I think the behavioral thing that Wrestler didn't really like is you're taking a contact, you're the only highlight in with the DA, and like those are the type of situations where Wrestler's probably going to shoot you for the next suspicious thing you do. And yeah, I think he was just laser focused on that Ambassador guarding bug very hard.
And also, our entry into that conversation was on screen as being bad, and that's actually how was that Wrestler? I think that was Wrestler. That's how Graash actually, yeah. Graash was Irish on Tayan and bounced between the parts of the conversation circle, got highlight, and that's actually ended up how he at least ostensibly lost that game. So Wrestler's really punishing Graash for conversations right now, which is interesting way to get into Grash's game, because if you are rushing often, like you're playing fast, you just on average enter conversations more. So if your opponent can abuse your conversation entries, it also starts clogging up your ability to do rush games because you're just changing positions so often. Just a strange outcome of being a pathing sniper is you're also somehow also a behavioralist sniper against people trying to rush because they're just changing spots so often.
All right, and with that, let's go ahead and move into Grash's double, which is Ballroom, and looks like Wrestler will be kicking things off on the spy side once again as Salmon in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Wrestler,
Immediately. Oh, go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Wrestler
that we were
immediately
just
went
gonna
in
say
for
the same
books.
thing.
Yeah, okay, I
He's
see.
ripping that book. We're
Yeah,
caught
he
though.
ripped it. I think it was an illegal on both counts for like the amount of time before and after he took the book. But taking advantage, I guess, of the early game, and Gresh gives him a highlight, a much deserved highlight for probably even just for having the book this early. Like I don't think the take was probably even seen, but whenever you see someone with a book that early away from the bookshelves, like that's very high suspicion.
Yeah, and I want to say that these early the rush type gambits thing haven't worked out for either player. Um, it's really been when they've actually just played quieter. Well, I mean, it's the snipers have been vast majority. I think the snipers only dropped 2 games on Tayan back to back. Is that right? So other than that, like they just kind of been on top of it. But the rush plays haven't really worked on each other. I think so far. I think they should maybe abandon that a little bit.
Yeah, kind of funny. Like the only like cheesy sort of play that worked was in the middle of a round, and Wrestler was kind of just paying attention to when he would have expected the sniper to be, distracted by the party. But yeah, using the early game as covered, yeah, historically has not worked out so far. But I mean, let's see how it works. I mean, it's possible that if we just sit around long enough, Grash will start paying attention to other guests, and we can do whatever we're planning to do with that book. I assume it's going in the blue bookshelf, but remains to be seen.
Yeah, and this is one of those weird spots where they have the book for so long that is he going to return this book? I think he might have felt out this highlight, and he's going to return it, and he does lose the highlight. I think that's actually extremely important for him. So, uh, if we end up not actually having any residual suspicion on us for this, this is a good read from Wrestler. Reading that we were actually caught with this thing, we can't get away with taking this book into blue.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good decision. Just knowing that, yeah, if I put this in blue, I'm just gonna die. Um, of course, the downside is that we don't have a lot done, and there's not a lot of time left. And Wrestler seemingly agrees and goes for a very smart time ad.
Yeah, and the fact that he got unless Graash is doing some sort of mind games, it feels like he got away with that time ad. Which let's say we did that time ad while we still had that book in hand that was kind of pending whether or not it was going to be. It was just a liability kind of in his hand. I feel like we would have gotten seen for it, right? So it seems like this is a really good indication for us. And we're just going to immediately swap. Okay, we're sorry. We immediately do the swap action, and it is going to be a green. And so we're not going to go for inspects at all. Totally understand. That's going to be great. And what are we going to do during the third thing? We can't. I feel like we want a bug, but it's going to be a tough sell right now. Maybe Purloin, but that's going to be hard to do back to back with the swaps. The swap is going to be coming off in just a second here with Red Dress. I think we're going to go for the bug. We're lining up on the bug. And there's going to be a shot on Boots at the same time. What happened there for Boots?
Yeah, Boots must have done something egregious because, yeah, I can't imagine that we. I mean, yeah, the swap must have just gone off. Something must have been very distracting at this moment.
But I feel like so the swap actually hadn't occurred yet. So like
Oh, I see.
uh I mean like the swap was literally just about to go off. So what's strange about this moment is I'm anticipating something like we're about to have this huge inflection, or the game's going to be decided right here because as the swap comes off, I expect Wrestler to go for the bug, so that they're kind of like stacked on top of each other, and either Grass shoots in 10 seconds or no, right, and that's it. Um, uh, uh, I don't even really know what Pearls could have done, huh?
Yeah, this one's a little baffling to me. Maybe just like something phantomed, but I don't know what it could be.
I'm just trying to see if she ever bugged. So what's something that's strange? Here's one thing about. Wait, it's us. Is it us? It's us. Yes, it is us. Boots looks like they're flirting with us. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. So okay, so the very beginning of the game, us, Salmon and Boots are stacked up on each other and flirting. Boots leaves across the venue, basically kind of like twice, returns right back to the exact same spot that we were, is flirting, contacts, is talking during the contact, and looks like they've done two green flirts on us. Um, I still don't know what the instigating thing is. Is whether or not we got fingerprint or something like that. It must have been. I actually want to see that. Sorry, I'm super focused in on this thing because I'm so curious about this. No, it couldn't have been.
Like, just thinking since we just took a drink, maybe Crash thought the list disappeared, even though it didn't. I'm not really certain on, because the thing is, like, even if we did all those things, like, we still don't have 4 missions. So, but yeah, yeah, kind of a tough situation. But yeah, with that, let's see if Crash can recover. Gonna go ahead and jump into the next one. So Crash is gonna be spying as Red Dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So that is the second time Grash has shot a Civ while there's a super zoom in on that early take. I'm curious if hopefully Grash gets credit for not doing anything except for just taking drinks super fast right at the beginning of the game. Um, but that's the second time that there's been a Civ shot while Wrestler is kind of lining up the last moments of their game. Last time, Graash was able to respond with a spy win of their own. So this is going to put the pressure back on them, of course, because let's see, after after this ballroom, we are going to. Where are we going? Is this the last? Is this last? Are we going to Are we going to balcony after this?
I feel like Double Ballroom was the last
Oh,
venue.
you're right. So wait, so double ballroom. Are we on? Is this the last game of double ballroom or the middle first game of the second half of double ballroom? I think that's right.
Yeah, yeah, second game of the first, right? Yeah, so there's 2 more after this, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Um. Oh.
Oh, really
Oh.
nice reverse drive-by, but yeah, Crash was right on top of that one.
Well,
Or I'm
never
sorry,
mind
Wrestler
that
was right on
two
top of
more
that one.
because that should be it, unless I totally screwed up on my scorekeeping.
I think that
Yeah,
Graash.
that is correct. Yeah, so 9 is needed to win. So yeah, Wrestler takes it down.
That was,
Yeah, good games.
let me get see that again because that was way too quick. Let's get
Yeah, that really caught me off guard. Like I love the timing on
yeah,
it, but
very
it's yeah one of those things.
anticlimactic ending.
Wait, I didn't think that was Wrestler up.
Yeah, wrestler was up.
Wrestler was up a
It's
full
up.
set. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
He
was
I
it
think
already?
he won 3 of the 10 games, I believe.
yeah he had 2 spy victories. Graash had 1.
Okay. I think I missed that. I think I had, for some reason, thought they'd split Taein. Okay, that makes more sense because I was really taken off guard. I thought they were still blow for blow. Um, yeah. Okay.
That's actually not a bad bug, honestly. Well, okay,
It
never
was
mind.
actually really good timing. Like I
Like,
think if it was timed it perfectly, that arm would have been a little bit invisible,
yeah,
but maybe you'd
I was
still
like,
catch a little bit.
it's
Oh
funny.
no, that was
Actually,
actually
the bug looks pretty good. Looks better from the spy side.
yeah, actually from the angle that the sniper had, it's
Yeah,
pretty egregious.
yeah. I was like, actually, I was looking at it from the spy side. Actually, that's not that bad. But then the sniper side, you're like, hello.
Oh yeah, if I was on the spy side, I'd be like, oh yeah, I got this very clean, and sniper's like, what was he thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, ultimately a good set. I mean, really just kind of decided by just some pretty, I mean, just some really nice sniping on wrestler's side.
Hmm.
Um, like I felt like the spy play was pretty good all around, but yeah, ultimately wrestler was just a little more locked in on the
Yeah.
sniper side.
Turns out, well, wrestler
And
is.
so these players, or go ahead.
I was gonna say wrestler is pretty good.
Yeah, wrestler is quite good. So wrestler kind of gets his payback for that
Uh,
SML championship. Um, And the winner of this, so interestingly enough, the winner of this plays the winner of Cotty and C Rams. And if you look at those 4 players, like right off the bat, those are 4 players that I'm sorry, 3 of those players are going to be in the Masters SML division, and the fourth one, Cotty, like probably would have been in that division had he played. It's kind of funny how close in skill like everyone is on this side, like this little corner of the bracket. Like I wouldn't have been surprised, with any of them moving on. So I'm going to be very excited, with the results of, that those that the remaining round of 16 game and the round of 8 game that comes from the winners.
hmm.
Yeah. Well done. That felt a lot closer than I think that I ended up feeling. It actually, yeah, I completely missed that that he held that tan lead from the first part. I thought that Graash took that back, but no, we had mission win, spider shot, civ shot, which is about to be a mission win. So tan really the big dividing line, along of course with that last ballroom game. But it really felt like again the players played each other really closely. Like they had a really good um, sense of the other one, and that they adapted well to each other. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
And so hopefully Graash goes into Penguin Pool, keeps playing a little bit, can meet his best friend Guggy, I think, who's also in Penguin Pool now. Could be wrong with that. Is Guggy in the tournament still? I think that they're yeah no I think they're out. So I think they're in
Yeah, I think
Penguin
Guggy
Pool.
Guggy was in one of the groups at death. I think Crash was actually in his group. I don't remember what the full group was though.
Oh, that's right, and that's why Graash was in second. Because Graash took second. That's right. It was Scout, Graash, Googie. So it was uh, whoever can take that out of the three of them. And then that's right, because this was something we just normally kind of mention, but kind of glossed over is this is a pretty tough round of 16 match for wrestler for finding Graash as a second place finisher, right? Let's see there are actually a few tough ones, like Martini got second, um, Gentleman, C Rams, Graash, Ascentine. Actually, now Pofsky. All right, actually, there's more brutal second places than normal. So I guess that's just kind of rough horrible. So it's kind of like we're just jumping straight into really high quality bracket matches immediately, because I think that I guess just from signups and whatnot that the second place finishers are actually just kind of universally good. And so the 16, yeah, the more they look at round of 16, the more that it just overall looks great.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, definitely some good matchups. Definitely looking forward to seeing the rest. And yeah, I believe with that, that will conclude our stream for today. I hope you all enjoyed the games today, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Yep, that's it. I don't have anything more to add. I don't know when the next game will be or what it'll be, but you know the round of 16 is almost over, and it's gonna be interesting to see the next round. I'm not sure how Yosh is still in this, but you know maybe he's good now. I don't know.
This is Josh's run, man. Like
Well,
I'm
Yeah,
excited for this. I think everybody is
yeah,
looking forward to. We see Rosh is going to play mini work or Astatine effect. Great, but
yep,
still, really, yeah, want that deep run.
yep,
well,
right.
now's my time to say I predicted Yash to win the whole thing, and I expect that to manifest now. So
Yes,
just had to mention.
He just had to get out of groups, and then it was okay. From here on out, easy.
yeah.
That's all he
This is the
needs.
easy part. All right. Anyway, good luck, Yosh, and everybody else, and we'll see y'all next
Bye,
time.
everyone.